back into the Manning family. So everybody's watched the 30 for 30 on the Book of Manning, and we heard the story that Archie Manning is just from Drew, Mississippi. He's a poor farmer dude from a poor town, and he came home from Ole Miss when he was 16 or a sophomore in college, excuse me, and he found his old man Elijah Archibald or Buddy Manning. He was dead at the business end of a shotgun. So one thing that we all probably have heard in different ESPN articles and whatnot is royal family. Football's royal family, blah, blah, blah. So um, I know I've heard it a ton of times. And so, like, but the NFL's royal family isn't ready to relinquish the throne. So, football, the Manning dynasty. So, in the name of the Father, football, the Manning dynasty. Another book. Archie, Peyton, and Eli, football's royal family. So they're throwing around this whole royal family. The Hasselback brothers and the Manning cross paths far before. Oh, I wonder what the Hasselbacks. I wonder what's up with them. So, yeah, I'm sure Matt and whatever Tim Hasselback are super connected. But it's not just in football, and it's not just in marriage. They want you to think that. Um, so it says NFL legacy, New Orleans, Eli, Peyton, but it's kind of a slap in the face because it's a lot deeper than that. So I'm sure we've all heard that they're the royal family of American football, and we'll see exactly how royal they are. So Archie, you know him. He lived in Drew. He went to Ole Miss, whatever. He went to the Saints. You know, maybe we'll get more into this down the road or whatever. But in the summer of '69, his father, Buddy Manning, died by suicide. Archie, who was home from college on summer vacation, was the first to discover Buddy's body. In the Book of Manning, he says that he considered dropping out of college, but his mom told him not to. So he was inducted into Omicron Delta Kappa. Omicron. I wonder if that's familiar. Omicron. I never heard of that before. He was also in the Sigma Nu fraternity along with his son Eli. So here's his dad, Elijah Archie Manning. Oh, no, okay. Yeah, Elijah Archibald Buddy Manning Jr. died in 1969 at 59. His son Archie played football at the University of Ole Miss, blah, blah, blah. Just says here his occupation is a farmer and repairing farmer machinery. So just a good old hard-working guy with a grit under his nails and lead in the back of his melon. His dad was Elijah Archibald. He was active in the church. Manning died suddenly Friday night at his home. He had been ill for several months. Born in Crystal Springs, he lived in Drew for 40 years and was one of the largest landowners in the county. And Drew, Mississippi is not a very populous area. Right now, there's only 1,927 people that live there. It's on the close to the banks of the Mississippi, but it was a lot of farm area and whatnot. So it's noted for having several racist murders, including the lynching of Emmett Till. Poor dude got all dicked up by psychos. Um, so in 1920, a man named Joe Pullen was lynched and Drew after 13 members of his lynch mob, after killing 13 members of his lynch. So Joe Pullen, he was an African American tenant farmer who was murdered by a lynch mob. But before they got to him, he killed 13 members of the lynch mob and then injuring 26 of them. Viva la Resistance, man. Joe Pullen, that guy's an American hero. That's some badass shit. So, um, the author of this book said that Drew had traditionally been regarded as one of the most recalcitrant, recalcitrant. I already looked this up. I can't say it again. Recalcitrant, 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 whatever. Um, a bunch of rebels. It's the definition of the word is for being rebels. So the county of Drew had all the white residents of Drew did not follow law, so they did their own thing. So if they thought you were bad, they just killed you. They just lynched you. So this was back in the early 1900s when like the Roswell or Rosewood stuff went down, and racism was really bad down in the South, and people were just getting killed. Very cool. So Elijah Archibald Manning. So he was a huge landowner. He gave his son to Archie, or gave all his land to Archie's dad. So Archie's dad wasn't just some farmer. There's no way that he was just cut out of being the biggest landowner in the county. So there, his great grandpa or whatever was Richard Manning. Came from South Carolina, buried in New Zion Cemetery. Um, and his parents were Elijah or Eli Manning, 1866, Dillon County, South Carolina. What so Dillon County, they were some of the largest landowners back then too. So Private John Manning is like the patriarch. He fought in the War of 1812, and sorry, I hope you guys don't hear my kids screaming upstairs. They're fine. My wife's just trying to get them in a bath. So Elijah Manning here, he was born in 1803 in Lada, Dillon County, South Carolina. His dad was Private John. He married Leetta Lee in 1802. Whatever, he served in the War of 1812 as a private Captain Bethesda. But he became a wealthy and prosperous planter and owned all the land which now comprises the town of Lata, South Carolina. So, dude owned all the land. This is in the early 1800s, so probably after the War of 1812 or whatever. Owned all the land, not some of it. He owned all the land that is now an entire town. At the time of his death, his property was worth $4,700. So that's a big chunk of land, if you ask me. So again, not just humble beginnings. So John Manning's dad was Mealy Manning, the dumb name. He was married to Sarah Rogers. Who cares? His dad was Moses Manning, his dad was Moses Manning. He was a colonial soldier in the Revolutionary War. So Moses Manning one lived up in Norfolk, Virginia, and he was a like original Revolutionary War. So he helped overthrow the English government, and America became. His dad was William Manning, 1685, in North Carolina, who his father was John Manning from 1647. His dad, John Manning. And John Manning was born in Cambridge, England, and he came to Norfolk in 1635 at the age of 20 with his brother Thomas aboard the Globe from the port of London. The James Register of Ships recorded that John Manning went to Virginia on the ship in 1635, and he was granted 200 acres of land in 1648 for bringing 4 new settlers to the county. John and Lydia were married in Norfolk in 1636. So granted 200 acres of land in 1648 for bringing 4 new settlers to the county. John and Lydia were married in Norfolk in 1636. So, coming to America, like Eddie Murphy, he was given a 200 acres of land. He was connected. He was connected coming here. It wasn't just like a fluke, and these guys worked hard and stuff like that. These guys came from England hooked up. They were good to go. So